This is perhaps the most requested review that I've ever done, which is amusing as I don't take requests for movie reviews, but well, I never got around to this one. Ages ago I did a Batman feature where I reviewed the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher films, as well as Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, which was brand new at the time. Last ComicThon, The Dark Knight Rises wasn't out yet, and I never did a random review of it, because, well, I didn't see it right when it came out. It came out at a time when I wasn't going to the movies because I didn't have the money. Well, thank fuck that's in the past. But then, even though people keep asking me to review it, I thought, what's the point? If it wasn't going to be part of a feature, and it seemed weird to do a random one-off, then why do it? But here I finally get to sink my teeth into the final part of the Dark Knight saga. Wait, can I say saga? The Candy Crush people won't be coming after me for that, right? Well, fuck them anyway. The Dark Knight Rises takes place 8 years after the last movie, and Batman has been retired since then after absorbing the blame for Harvey Dent's murders. In the interim, they passed new laws in his name that gave the police enough power to dismantle crime in the city. Gotham is in a pretty good place then, right? Well, except for Bane. Bane is the new leader of the League of Shadows, or at least that's what he says, and he's bent on finishing Ra's al Ghul's work by destroying Gotham. Though this time, instead of an overly complicated plot with fear gas, it's an overly complicated plot with a nuclear device in a truck that a random citizen supposedly has the trigger for. Oh, snap, this looks like a job for Batman? Well, aside from being retired, Bruce Wayne is also partially crippled shut-in who hasn't left his house, or even a certain section of his house, in a long time. Well, when a certain Catwoman steals his mother's pearls, he's forced to at least start moving around a bit, as he wants to get them back from her. Sentimental value, you know? Bane takes over Gotham completely after Batman teams up with Catwoman and tries to take him on, but he gets badly beaten and thrown into the prison that Bane grew up in, or at least that's what he claims. To get out of the prison, Bruce has to climb his way out after his back heals, something that only one person has ever done, which he believes to be Bane himself. I don't want to go into too much detail with the plot, because there's a lot going on, but what's important is the theme. Batman is retired not only because he took blame for the murders or because his body is failing, but because Batman wasn't needed anymore. But suddenly he's needed again, and he has to fight his way back to being Batman. For the first hour or so of the movie, there's very little Batman. The other characters take center stage, especially a police officer played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who has deduced Batman's identity and is determined to see the return of the hero. So, how does this one stack up to its lofty predecessor, The Dark Knight? Pretty well. I think overall, I'd give an edge to The Dark Knight over Rises, but it wouldn't be by a wide margin. I think in some ways, The Dark Knight Rises is better. It's smarter in some aspects and has a better story, but it lacks the extra punch of the performances. Tom Hardy is great as Bane, and it works really well for this movie, but it doesn't match the brilliant pathos that Heath Ledger brought to the previous movie. But that's mostly because The Dark Knight was very much a Joker movie. Is this a Bane movie? Not quite, nor is it a Batman movie or a Catwoman movie or anything. It's more of an ensemble cast. That being said, The Dark Knight Rises I found to be a very daring movie that was a satisfying close to the series. It asks a lot of the audience to watch a very long film that has little to no action in the first half and is very little actual Batman in it. But I think the point of the previous two films was to ensure the goodwill to make a movie like this. So Dark Knight, slightly better, but this one, still fucking awesome. It's a 10 out of 10. Maybe this one's more of a soft 10, while the previous movie is a hard 10, but that's my score. Deal.